Welcome, everyone, to the Real Talk Sports Show. I am your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we are thankful to have you all join us here live. We are broadcasting in our favorite spot, Holiday Inn and Suites. You can see behind me, they already have the Christmas decorations up and running, and we're very thankful to be here again. A very crisp, this feels like wintertime, a little crisp in the air. And again, we are just thankful to be out here in the middle of it. Well, anytime we do our show, I bring on one of the most beautiful women in the way of sports talk, TV, or radio. We simply call her the Queen. The lovely Miss Tree Dolman is in the building. Welcome back.
Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm doing great. And of course, anytime you bring on the Queen, you also have to bring on a champion, two-time Super Bowl champion, and a member of the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame. And also, I believe he was just recently inducted into another Hall of Fame, but he's going to tell you himself. The one and only Tyrone Poole is in the building. Good evening, sir.
Greetings, everyone. Happy holidays. And thank you, Minister and the Queen, and everybody listening and watching. You're in for a great show tonight.
And I know it's going to be great. Let me zoom in. I think he put a beverage up there. Let's pass that up there again. Let's see that.
I'll just give him a foundation, a little bit of.
There you go.
Yeah,
a shameless plug.
Cheers.
Amen.
I love it. Why does he look like Mr. Rogers right now?
Yeah,
he's ready. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Yeah, I love it. He got
That's what I'm talking about.
Got the foundation cup.
Yeah. Hey, you guys see my. You see my lights in the back, my Christmas lights?
Hold on, let me get them lights.
I
do. Hey, in the spirit. Cheers.
Yay, look at
Tyrone Poole is ready. Now, I'm going to tell you, last time, when I came out to eat, I made a mistake. But this time, let me go ahead and move the camera here. Let's see if we can. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man, that looks
good. This time we got the salad, boys.
Man, that is good. That looks good.
That looks yummy.
Man, the balsamic vinaigrette. I see you.
Yes, sir. You already know how we do it. Yep. Let me put the mic back up here. Let me get it back here so I can. There you go. All right. Well, as you guys can see, I'm ready. I got the salad ready. I have I got my napkin and utensils right here. I have a to-go box because I'm not going to be able to eat it all. And this time, Tyrone, I can't eat the salad cold. I'm just.
I don't know that salad. I think the salad you want that cold.
Right. Well, it actually does have chicken tender crisps on there, so those are actually kind of warm. So at some point, I will be diving in to eat while we're on the air because I can consume that while we're there. Well, look, it's great stuff going on. Good to see you guys. Yeah, we're all in the Christmas spirit. I can see that, and I know that there is a lot of happiness over there with Miss Dolman, as you can see. I mean, she always is smiling, but man, she was showing us a lot of teeth today. What it was, she was excited.
Detroit Lions,
man,
Michigan Wolverine.
Let me zoom in. There it is. What?
The Lions got off the snide. They actually won a game, people. Yes.
You can't tell us the winless Lions anymore.
That's right. Man, the Queen. Listen, Tyra, I know she made it through the weekend, bro, because think about this. Not only did the Lions get off the snide, but the Michigan Wolverines, the Maize and Blue, are officially in the college football playoffs, number 2 in the nation.
Yes.
Come on now. Who would have thought?
Yes, and Big Ten champions.
That's right.
I mean, what? I'm just, woo! Great weekend for football.
Yep. Wallop, Iowa, big game there. We'll talk about that in the college football segment. Also, of course, some heartbreak here. Once again, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it turns out, heartbreak hotel for our local teams. But like you said, we'll talk about that more in the college football segment. It's a lot. I mean, really, just a lot of excitement. Really, was all around college football throughout the weekend. But also, we did get some play by our own local team that didn't play football, the Atlanta Hawks. Also played during the weekend as well, and so we'll talk about them and how they're doing. And hey, guys, was there any breaking news that maybe I missed? Sometime on the weekend I get a little sleepy. Anything you guys kind of popped out? You said, "Oh, this looks interesting." Tyrone, anything you saw?
You know what? Nothing really too hot. Pretty much everybody knows about certain things happening in football, basketball. Of course, we all knew about the baseball, they actually have broken talks in baseball, but they're going to pick that back up. So this is a perfect time for them to basically shut it down because the season is over. So basically it's just a vacation for them. But believe me, they're going to pick the pace back up once those dollars start to come sit down in those seats.
No doubt, yeah. So the lockout is in full effect. The owners could not get together with the collective bargaining agreement, CBA, with the baseball players. So there is technically officially a lockout, but as Tyrone mentioned, it won't last too long because spring training actually starts early in February.
Yes.
So look for this to get resolved probably by the end of the year, if not just after the first of the year. They try to put this together here and get these guys back out here. And of course, the Braves are excited because they are coming off a World Series title. So look for them to make some moves, including at some point signing Freddie Freeman to a big fat contract. Not sure whether they're going to – the battle, I think, Tyrone, is between whether they're going to have, the number of years that he wants, because the rumor is he wants 6 or 7, or whether the Braves can say, look, man, we'll front load your money, pay a lot of money for 5 years, and then we'll see what you look like after that. But, yeah, I think that it's going to be definitely baseball be back in. I don't think the collective bargaining agreement will last too long at all. Let's go to social media here. We got some comments already. My man, there he is. He got to go show the queen some love. He only wastes no time. There you go.
Aw, thank you, Todd.
Look wonderful again tonight as usual. So that's what's going on. Oh, okay. Well, I guess,
Thank you, Todd.
he got all the compliments in. I don't blame him. I mean, yes, the queen does look lovely, Todd. That's it. You are spot on with that. I thought she was going to kind of.
She's the queen.
Well, she is, but I thought she was going to throw, I know she got the Lions thing on, but I thought she was going to maybe throw some amazing blue somewhere in the background. But I guess the Blues and the Detroit thing, and Detroit situation was really desperate.
Yeah, I want to spread the love. I had on Michigan last week, and this week, because the Lions actually won, and I hate that they won against my Minnesota Vikings.
Wow, yeah.
They won, and so I wanted to definitely show some love to the Lions.
Well, we appreciate you on that. And like I said, it is unbelievable that they did pull this off. But again, you expect that in these rivalry games. You just don't know what's going to happen. And think about it, they came very close to beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. So at the end of the day, big love to the Lions. They're off the schneid. And the crazy thing is, Tyrone, believe it or not, the Lions technically are still in the hunt in NFC for the playoffs.
That's probably for another week or so. And then after that, they're eliminated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that is the shock. And that's how bad the NFC is. Yeah, everybody's all bunched together. So actually, the first team to be eliminated was the Houston Texans. They are mathematically out from having any shot of postseason play at all. So sorry, Houston fans. That whole thing this season has been just a colossal crash for them. Obviously, having one of their legendary players, J.J. Watt, moving on to the Cardinals. And, of course, everybody knows about the salacious scandal involving Deshaun Watson, where multiple women claimed that he was a little bit too friendly with them against their wishes. And so the Texans, they have a lot to come back to. Hopefully they'll be able to get themselves together as they go into 2021, 2022. So we just look forward for them doing that. But listen, we're going to take an early break. You guys don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show, watching the Real Talk Sports Show on multiple platforms. And we'll be back in just a moment. Hang tight.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
And we are back here. You're listening to and watching the Real Talk Sports Show. I want to give a big shout out to those of you watching us here on Facebook Live, those of you tuning to us on YouTube as well. And also, big shout out to those of you watching on Roku on the Phoenix Entertainment Group station. Appreciate you for that. And of course, I always got to give a shout out to those of you watching on YouTube and Twitch. Let's go back to social media again. Our man Todd says he predicted, let's see here. He said, I predicted months ago on this show, affiliate man knows the future, that Georgia loses in the ACC championship and will beat Alabama in the national championship game. Yeah, we're going to
You
talk a
did
little
say
about
that,
that.
Todd.
Yeah, I mean, he did. I get the guy a shout out. It was a interesting situation there with Georgia. I guess we can kind of jump right into the college football situation with the college football playoffs. Yeah, I mean, to me, I heard a lot of guys, Alabama fans especially, basically bragging that, oh yeah, they beat the brakes off them and they crushed them. But in essence, that game was really a game for Georgia really to win. They had several opportunities to win the game or at least tie the game and get into something where it was more manageable. I just think it was a situation where Kirby was clearly outcoached by the legend, Nick Saban. Tyrone, what are your thoughts on that game? And do you think Georgia had a legitimate shot to win?
We're gonna go ahead and call it what it is. They lost, man. Don't it ain't no they had the opportunity. Yeah, they had the opportunity, but they ended up losing. And I did say that last week leading into the game. Everybody was harping about Georgia's defense. And like I said, I played the game. I understand that there's a momentum. There's also that thought that sits in the back of your head. Okay, we lost to this team 4 straight times. And yes, you try to show it on the outside that you're not fearful, but on the inside, you trembling like you don't know what. And, it just happened that Alabama had a pretty good defense, and they did just enough to give Bryce Young, who, again, I just thought he played phenomenal. And then also I said this in closing last week, that I don't believe Georgia played that wipe your forehead, type of game to where, man, if we get down by 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns or whatever the case may be, do we have the composure to keep doing what we need to do to get back into the game? And I said that Alabama had been battle tested the week leading into this game. So really, Alabama was the better team mentally for the game. And we all know that wherever the mind goes, the body goes. So yes, Georgia may be more talented, but I just think Alabama had more of a mental mindset coming into the game that we are still the champions. Regardless if we on a crutch or we come in on a scooter, we're still the champions, because that's the mindset that you got to have. And it showed up this past weekend. It's just my thoughts.
All right, Tree, what do you think about the Alabama Crimson Tide and that big win over Georgia? You still laughing at Tyrone being crazy? I got you. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm laughing at your faces at Tyrone.
Oh, okay.
But I definitely agree that Georgia was outcoached. Georgia, I really thought that they had a shot to win the game. And because of their defense, when you have defense, as I say all the time, anyone who watched the shows knows how much I love defense and how I truly believe that defense is what wins championships. You have to have offenses that can score, but you need to have defenses that can make stops and just make great plays, because then you can control the momentum of the game. And Georgia was outcoached, and Kirby, he thought he was ready, but Nick showed everybody why he's Nick. And I definitely do think that Georgia wasn't able to make enough adjustments that they needed to make during the game and during halftime in order to have a comeback. So we'll see. Do they have a shot if they play in the national championship? We'll see, because it's starting to be the same show. But I do think a lot of times that when you have great teams like Georgia and you do have a loss, sometimes this is exactly what the team needs to push them to get that championship. You'll see a lot of teams, they'll go undefeated, but then once they get to the semifinals or finals, then they lose. But when you have that one loss that you don't want to feel that way again, it pushes you. And I think that does help some teams become champions. So we'll see if they have what it takes, if they do make it to the game, because we know that they have to go through Michigan.
But then, it all goes with a mindset again. It's a mindset. Whether you say someone got out coached, they got outplayed, it starts with the mind. Anything you want to do, if you want to have a successful whatever, it starts with a mindset. Now, I know we talk about college football, but let's go back to the pro football game last night. The Patriots, their mindset was, again, we're going to run the ball. They threw the ball how many times? 3. So really, it's a mindset. When you come into that game, what are you going to do? We're not going to be scared to do it. The Patriots said we're not going to be scared to run the ball 40-something times. We're not going to be afraid. That's our mindset. So again,
you're right, Tyrone.
It's a mindset.
You are 100% correct. It's all the mindset, and it's all in the mind, because like one of my favorite quotes, whether you think you can or you think you can, either way, you're right. And it all is mental, and it starts with the mind. Like you said, the Patriots last night, they were running the ball. They knew what they had in store. They were prepared. They were ready, and they thought and felt in their mind that they were going to win the game. So their game plan worked out with craziness that was going on with the weather and the wind. But you're right. It's all in the mind.
And that's what Georgia should have done. Georgia should have said, hey, you know what? We're going to do what we've been doing all year long. And we're not going to change just because we're going to make them change to us. They're going to adapt to us. But it seemed like, but anyways, again, it is what it is. And they'll hopefully get an opportunity to play them, a couple of weeks or several weeks or so.
Alabama. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I mean,
I don't know about the hopefully part, but
because that means a Michigan loss. That's what that means. That's why she's
exactly.
Look, at the end of the day, I mean,
just going to throw that out there.
We already knew. We already knew that was the situation. Look, here's the thing about Georgia. Did they get beat? Absolutely, they got beat. Mentally, I think it was a situation where they came out of the box the way they're supposed to. They jumped right on them. They got a 10-0 lead, and they were playing extremely well. But they did get away from what they do best, which is basically playing great defense and running the ball. The other thing too is they were normally a team not to take a lot of risks. Kirby went for a 4th and 9, which I couldn't understand at all. Instead of getting points when you were down by 14 and you clearly needed to stop the momentum, they did not run the ball hardly at all. James Cook was a non-factor in the game. And so everybody wants to throw shade on Stetson Bennett. But Stetson Bennett had basically a good game up until the first half. He had only 2 touchdowns. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns, no interception. Georgia defense, and Tyrone, about taking opportunities. You have a situation where your team goes up 10-0, you lose the momentum, go down 17-10. Your offense gets it back in gear and ties the game at 17-17. And your defense finally makes a play, a big play. They get a strip, a fumble, but instead of falling on the ball and getting your offense a shot to maybe score a field goal or maybe go into the halftime tie, they try to pick it up and run it. Alabama recovers. They score to end the half, and then, to me, almost a dagger, score to start the second half. And now instead of a tie game, or maybe up by 3 or 4, you actually find yourself down by 2 touchdowns and in a position you hadn't been all season. So really, to me, don't get me wrong. Alabama played a great game, especially offensively, but Georgia kind of really threw an opportunity away to win that game. That's my thought on it. They just did not play well when they absolutely had to, and consequently, the champions did, and that's why they're still the champions.
And you hit on something that I just said. They were down by whatever points, 14 points. Just like I said, during the season, had Georgia ever had that wipe your forehead type of game where they're like, okay, we got to do what we got to do to get back into this game? No, they had not. But I do agree with Tree. This loss will give them some momentum. But they're going against Michigan, which I've looked at Michigan, and I really like Michigan on certain standpoints. But yeah, I did say that about Georgia. They never had that wipe that sweat off your forehead game this year.
I'll tell you one thing. I just had to wipe my mouth moment. This was off the chain. Big shout out to the folks at the Holiday Inn Swiss Burger Theory restaurant. I want you guys to look at this one more time here while I'm chopping this food. This is a tasty meal, guys. I mean, so enough of that, but I had to kind of get this grub in because I haven't eaten pretty much all day.
You were going to talk a little longer, Tyrone.
Yeah, I know, Ray. You know what? I can't jump into it. Now, Michigan, I said it with Michigan. What I do like about Michigan, those guys, they do run that football, man. They run that football. Mm-hmm. Them guys are like ranked 10th in all of college football, the FBS, as far as running. Those guys are averaging like 200 and what, almost 24 yards a game, 5.3 yards a take. Every time they hand that ball off, pretty much, it's 5 yards. So Georgia, they showed real good sturdiness when Alabama tried to run the football. So I think, the quarterback situation in Michigan really going to have to play a hand into everything, because I know Georgia is going to come. And if they got that mindset, again, they're going to take away what Michigan does best on offense, which is run that ball. So we're going to stack the defensive line and we're going to stop the run. But then the question goes, when you look at Georgia's pass defense, they not that good against the pass defense. So now you're setting yourself up. Do you stop the run and give it the pass, or it goes back to coaching like we said? You got to know when to roll the dice, when the blitz, which comes down to game planning, looking at Michigan's film and seeing when they run the ball, what type of formation they run from, and call the plays accordingly. So that's why coaching is such an important piece when it comes to winning championship. It's not just the players. It's the coaches putting the players in position, knowing what's about to happen.
See, that's what you just said is the key. The coach putting the players in the best position to win. And to me, that's not what Georgia did. Georgia knew that the weakness of their defense was their passing, especially the defensive backs. They talked about that for the beginning of the season. And instead of putting pressure on like they did in the second half, putting a lot more pressure on Bryce Young, forcing him to speed up the clock. They didn't do that, and they allowed basically their defensive backfield to be savaged. I mean, just savage. They were exposed all day long to the deep ball. And like I said, to me, it's Kirby's fault or the defensive coordinator's fault. The second thing is also on offense. What's the best way to stop really a good offense? Not just your defense. Your offense needs to slow the game down. Georgia made very little attempt to run that ball. I mean, think about this. I'm gonna look at this stat, which is insane. Georgia, known for his balance, in this game, Stetson Bennett, who was not necessarily known for his passing ability, threw the ball 48 times. 48 times. And it wasn't just because they were behind. If you go look at the stat sheets and look at their drives, you'll see he's throwing on first down. He's throwing on second down. The Georgia team was based on a good style defense and a balanced offense and the ability to run the ball with basically 4 running backs that could be starters on any other team. And we didn't see that at all. So that's it. Now, of course, the conspiracy buffs are out as well. They're saying, well, the SEC wanted 2 teams in, and maybe Georgia didn't play their best game. Georgia wasn't as motivated as Alabama, because keep in mind, if Alabama had lost that game, most likely they would have been out of the playoffs completely. So bottom line is Georgia lives to fight another day, even with that loss. I think it's going to be, if they can get by Michigan, if they play Alabama again, I look for the Bulldogs to get some payback. And speaking of that, let's go to social media. My man Todd is basically saying the same thing. He says, hey, Alabama had to have the win to get into the Final Four, and Georgia did not need the win to get in. Motivation was also on Alabama's side. When they meet again, that will be flipped.
Well, if they meet again, Todd, a.k.a. Mr. Affiliate Man, I do want to say that Georgia is going to have to be concerned about Hutchinson on our defense for Michigan. That's all I'm going to say. So, of course, they're going to have to be concerned about other things, but Hutchinson will definitely make his presence known.
And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Hutchinson is officially a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. Yes. It's very, very rare defensive player is in that position, but he will be there. So it should be very, very interesting. I mean, you really can't fault this lineup. Tyrone, this is, I think, what everybody was looking for. Big Ten participant other than Ohio State in here. And for the very first time, my dark horse candidate, the Cincinnati Bearcats, first non-Power 5 team to get into the college football playoffs. And I'm telling you, watch out for those Bearcats. They narrowly lost to Georgia last year right here in the Peach Bowl by 3 points. Their quarterback can run. They themselves have a solid defense, so look for the Bearcats to give Alabama some trouble, because Alabama's defense really is not that good.
Yeah. Now say this Cincinnati. Let me say this last thing about Michigan, because I got my certain keys that I firmly believe that in football, you got to run the ball on offense. You got to be able to stop the ball on defense. You got to be able to convert third down on offense and stop third down on defense. And then you got to score touchdowns in the red zone offensively and stop touchdowns defensively in the red zone. To me, that's the formula for winning games. Now, when I look at Michigan, again, I said they They were excellent at running the ball, in my opinion. They are excellent, in my opinion, when they get inside that red zone. When they get inside that red zone, Harbaugh got them boys scoring 92% of the time. All right. And they got 31 rushing touchdowns. All right. 31 rushing touchdowns. And basically, they've been inside the red zone 64 times. This is what I saw. 64 times out of 64 attempts inside the red zone, which is usually 20 into the goal line. They were there 64 times this year up until now, and they scored 59 out of those 64 times. All right. 31 of them being rushing touchdown, 10 being throwing the ball, 18 field goals. So what does that tell you? They're going to pound and ground you. So Georgia, as they would say, man, you got to put on your big boy pads this week or when you play Michigan, because them boys are coming. They coming.
There's
That's
no doubt.
right.
If you look at this,
Go Blue.
if you look at their game and the Big Ten championship against Iowa, who was a stout defensive team, you look at this, they did exactly what Tyrone talked about. They ran the ball and controlled the clock. Quarterback was 16 of 24. Cade McNamara, 169, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But if you look at his ground attack, Blake Corum, 5 attempts, 74 yards and a touchdown. Hassan Haskins, he was the kind of the bell carrier back of the 17 attempts, 56 yards, 3.3 yards a carry, but more importantly, 2 touchdowns. A.J. Henning got loose for a nice run for 29 yards. J.J. McCarthy, 4 carries for 23 yards. Cornelius Johnson, 1 carry for 17 yards. But here's the big thing that now is made Michigan the more dangerous team right now, is their ability to now use that running attack to set up big plays in the offensive passing game. Look at these stats here. Roman Wilson, 2 receptions for 82 yards. Luke Schoonmaker, 2 receptions, 49 yards. Eric Al, 2 receptions, 43 yards. Okay, what's the big deal about that? They only have 2 receptions apiece, but they average 41 yards a reception, 24 yards a reception, and 21 yards a reception. So, again, Michigan has more than a fighting chance to beat Georgia because they can, in fact, be explosive. For the first time under the Harbaugh era, we're really seeing a Michigan team that knows how to take its shots when the teams are playing them at 8 in the box to be able to get these guys open down the field. And Georgia was very susceptible to that against Alabama. So anybody out there thinking this is going to be a cakewalk, like my man Todd, throwing some shade from social media, talking about Tree, I love you, but Michigan losing by 40.
No, you didn't. Oh, listen, I love it. You know what I love? Okay, so Todd, aka affiliate man, you are going to feel like most people after this game who always think that the SEC is so much better than the Big Ten. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from the SEC when it comes to football. SEC when it comes to football is phenomenal. We all know that. You can't take that away. But don't slip and don't sleep on Michigan and a lot of these other teams in the Big Ten. Let's not forget, y'all may have a lot of football down here, but we have the big house for a reason. So let's not forget that either. Michigan has the biggest stadium out of all college teams, including Alabama. Okay. And so, no, we're not going to lose by 40. So
now, we'll say this, Tree. Now I'm like I said, I'm a stat person, certain stats. Now, Michigan on defense now, basically, they will give up some touchdown. They will give up some points now. So if Georgia does get down in the red zone, Michigan does struggle trying to keep people out of that red zone. So I'm looking at their stats. Out of 30 times this season, teams got down there. They scored 24 out of 30 times. So Michigan, their defense got to play a little bit too now.
I mean, that's true. When they get down there, right? But I'm not concerned. Like I said, Michigan, we gonna do our thing. So I'm not concerned. Everybody, Georgia. And don't get me wrong. Like I've said, Georgia is a phenomenal team this year. I'm not taking anything away from Georgia. I'm not taking anything away from their defense. I love watching their defense. I love how they shut teams down and they pride themselves on their defense. So I know it's going to be a difficult game. I don't think it'll be an easy win by far, but I do think that Michigan will walk away with the W.
Y'all ever notice how Tree gets? Okay, that lovely demure queen. See them teeth you see now? As soon as you say things shade, that went away. Them eyebrows got straight together like that. She wasn't smiling. She said, oh, no. You ain't talking about my boys like that. No. She
Right.
went like this. She started looking like this to Kim. She wasn't smiling at all. She wanted to do the finger point, but she was restrained because the queen said we don't do it like that. But yeah, I mean, but you see the different facial expressions by the queen when stuff is going down about her boys. I'm just saying.
She said,
but yeah, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, it's going to be. I think Tyrone. You know what? This game has. You would think that Michigan with their running attack, Georgia with their defense, you would think this would be like the Clemson game, right? 10-3. But those stats you just mentioned and the way Georgia showed they could get beat deep, this game could be a shootout. Like when Georgia played Oklahoma a couple years ago, this could be a wild one.
Well, I'm saying, again, the formula to win a championship. Show me one team yet that wins a championship. Either you got a balance on offense where you run and pass, and even when you talked about Michigan being able to throw the ball deep, all that comes off of play action. You draw up that safety, you put 8, you get them to put as many people in the box. I'm going to say you can't really say put an 8 in the box or whatever. But Michigan, they get those big plays because everybody trying to stop the run. Okay, it makes it easier for them to be able to throw the ball. It kind of goes back. I looked at a documentary about RG3 and when his rookie year in Washington. That's why he was so successful, because of the play action. The play action, the defense comes up, and now the linebackers respect the run, and you get those receivers behind the linebackers, and you give your quarterback 1 or 2 people to throw it to. Is wide open. So when you have a great running game, you got 2 outside receivers, you get them to run what they call the NCAA route. You got a deep crosser and a post, and it makes it easy to read. You put that bind on the free safety. Okay, which one is he going to go with? And the quarterback, it makes it an easier read for him. So, it's going to be a lot of stress put on Georgia's secondary and that front 4 of Georgia. How deep are they? When guys start to get tired, when Michigan start lining up with 3 tight ends and all that stuff and trying to pound that ball, man, I'm telling you, it was hard to cover somebody man to man a whole game. It's more difficult as a defensive lineman to be able to push aggressively for a whole game. You got to have now a bench. People to come in, get that guy a break, then bring it back in. So it's going to be an interesting game to see how Harbaugh comes in to this game against Georgia.
Yeah, no doubt. They're going to do everything they can. And like I said, look also for Georgia to, again, get back to what their roots are, running the ball, pounding the ball, and then trying to go up top. Keep in mind, George Pickens, their star receiver, is back. He'll have another week to recuperate. So look for Georgia to look for him. And also their big tight end, Brock Bowers, has just been unstoppable. So, yeah, this should be a great game. As advertised, I think Georgia maybe wins it late by 10. I think they've gotten their battle testing now out of the way, out of Alabama. So look for a good one here. But I think the Bulldogs will in fact pull this out because they are men on a mission. See that face again, guys?
Don't make Tree mad. You know that old the Incredible Hulk, when he used to come on, David Banner, he would say, "Don't make me mad. You ain't like me when I'm angry."
And you mentioned that. They do have a She-Hulk.
You better stop talking about them Wolverines, man. You're gonna make Tree turn into the Hulk now.
Listen, I am not going to get upset. You guys can choose Georgia and talk about Michigan all you want. It does not anger me one bit. I just love it because I will tell you, one of my favorite license plates that I've ever seen was on Dwayne Wade's car. You know what it said? It said, "Doubt me." And so I love it. If you guys want to doubt Michigan, doubt us. You'll see when it comes to game day. That's all I have to say.
I agree with you, Tree. Settle it on the field. That's what I always say.
Right.
That's it, boys. Listen, we're going to take a little break. Affiliate man got to say something. He said, "Tree, I'm sorry to say, Georgia band be playing a lot that night." Oh, snap. He said the Red Coats going to be doing their thing. Listen, we're going to continue to do our thing, guys. We got to take a break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, we're back. Man, that salad is tasting real good. I'm just saying. Like, boy.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I
Can
mean,
I
it's great.
say something really quick? Can I say two
Sure,
things
jump right
really
in there.
quick?
Jump right in there.
Okay, first things first. I just want to say that acts of kindness are very important, and I truly live my life to bless as many people as I can. And so I had a neighbor knock on my door the other day, and she asked if I had jumper cables. And I don't, because I gave them away. And I said, well, I don't have any, but I'll run to the store and buy you some, because I was trying to help her. And I just say this to say, long story short, she found somebody else with some, and I was just out there trying to help her get going until I had a call that I had to jump on. But she stopped by and brought me a gift bag from Bath and Body Works with this beautiful gift and a sweet card. Was that not so nice and thoughtful?
That is very, very
that
nice.
really made my day. And so, of course, I didn't try to help to get something. I just treat people how I want to be treated. But I just wanted to say that, just to say that you never know what people are going through. And when you can help people, help them. And then I also want to say that my nonprofit organization, Making a Better Me, we're still doing our Christmas toy drive. So if anybody wants to donate any toys, we have our Amazon registry. You can go to makingabetterme.org and click on the link if you feel like donating to kids in the hospital this Christmas. And that's it.
That's good stuff there. It's always good to, it's nice to be nice. And so, guys, you can see I'm being nice here. I want to promote here this healthy salad.
You're making me hungry.
Right. This, again, we're at the Burger Theory restaurant here, located in the Holiday Inn and Suites. This is their a fried chicken salad. You can see there's chicken tenders cut in there, nice and crisp, cheese, tomatoes, red onion, green leaf lettuce, and, of course, balsamic vinaigrette dressing. So good stuff there as I try to eat healthy here tonight. Just want to give the guys a big shout out here at the Holiday Inn and Suites. They have been so nice to let us set this up here. And you can see they got the Christmas decorations right behind us here. People have been kind of floating by. And we, again, appreciate those of you who are watching and listening to us here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter TV. I forgot about that. Twitter TV, Periscope, and, of course, the Phoenix Entertainment channel on Roku. Thank you all very, very much. Well, we're going to shift gears here. Still talking a little college football. Tyrone, I know you do a lot of SIAC. But the excitement is coming to Atlanta, where the college football, the D1, at least division of HBCUs, will be coming to town. And as everybody wanted, Jackson State, coached by Prime Time, will be squaring off against South Carolina State. And a big game here in Atlanta. Tyrone, what do you think about the idea of kind of the extra juice that Prime Time brings and what it means to HBCU football?
Yeah, I'm. It's good that Jackson State and South Carolina State are going to play. In the Celebration Bowl, but really, I would love to see them get into the FCS playoffs and play against all the other teams as well. Which I don't think teams from the SWAC or the MEAC or the Ivy League, they get like a automatic bid. I think FAMU, just talk about this real quickly, they did get an opportunity to play in the playoffs, and I think they actually lost. But Jackson State playing against South Carolina State. South Carolina State 6-5 overall. Jackson State, of course, they got their record and doing very well. Their offense is out of 12 games, scored 348 points, averaging 29 points a game, 13 points, giving up 13.5 on defense. While South Carolina State, of course, they're not scoring as many points, giving up a lot of points on defense. So basically averaging 27 points given up on defense, South Carolina State. So really, I see this as a game that Jackson State shouldn't have no problems with. Again, Jackson State, Deion Sanders doing a great job there. They won the SWAC this year, and this was their first winning of the SWAC championship since 2007. Last couple of times they did it was in 1996 and 1995. So, Deion has brought a little bit more of swagger to Jackson State. And it's going to be a good matchup. The MEAC, they only have 6 teams because, some of the teams left to go to the SWAC. So, they lost a lot of teams. FAMU was one of those teams. So, again, it should be a good game, but I expect Jackson State to have no problems. But I still would like to see Jackson State get into the FCS championship and play in those playoffs. They get to go against teams like Old Dominion and, all that good stuff. So it kind of puts the HBCU programs really out there in the spotlight.
Well, one of the big benefits of what Jackson State has done is they've had an article here that says that Deion Sanders and Jackson State directly tied to huge increase. It says here the amount of money that Deion Sanders has made the city of Jackson, Mississippi is truly unfathomable. They have really kind of turned everything on its head. People have swarmed to Jackson, Mississippi, see these guys, and it's phenomenal the amount of revenue and really eyeballs that he's bringing to HBCU football. And yeah, there is hope that at some point they get to the playoffs, but he's really made Jackson State must-see TV. Let's go here to, oh man, Todd always throwing some shade. He says he believes Jackson State would beat Georgia Tech. I don't know about that. I mean, Georgia Tech had a bad season this year, but at the end of the day, man, it's pretty exciting. We look forward to hopefully getting a shot to ask Coach Prime some questions. We're going to try to go down there for the press conference on Friday if I can get my work schedule arranged properly. But definitely the city of Atlanta, the Celebration Bowl, and college football fans alike are going to be, well, not going to be, they're excited that Deion is bringing his road show here. And he says that his hope is everybody who was not aware, Deion has been having some tremendous physical trials and tribulations, has been in a wheelchair for quite some time as he tries to recover from various ailments. And he says his goal is to be able to get out of the chair and walk into the stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a place that his Atlanta Falcons ply their trade. And, of course, everybody knows that Deion had his first 4 years in the NFL as an Atlanta Falcon, electrified our crowds here. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see him come out here and see his team come out. You wish it was a little bit closer competition with South Carolina State not being, like you said, a really good team, but you never know. Yeah, it's all about what happens on the field.
I can't say this. Nadia knows how to get the crowd ready, right? He says, I take my first steps, when I come in there. So he knows how to get it up. But again, I would love to see Jackson State get into the FCS and play against those teams. Again, I mentioned Florida A&M. They did play in the FCS playoffs. They lost to Southeastern Louisiana 38-14. So you got teams like James Madison, Montana, Eastern Washington, and Villanova, Holy Cross, South Dakota State. These are the teams, again, if we want to get where we need to get to, then we need to take step by step by step. And again, playing against these types of teams and showing how good we are as HBCUs, I think it'll go a long way. So shouts out to Florida A&M for being in the FCS playoffs, but they did come up short to Southeastern Louisiana 38-14.
Speaking of teams making some headway in postseason play, we want to give a big shout out to a team that I actually had a chance to cover since their inception. We haven't been able to do much with them this year. Talking about big shout out to the Owls of Kennesaw State, once again winning the Big South Championship, but unfortunately were upset in the second round, being knocked off by Eastern Tennessee State. Knocked them off 32-31, scoring a touchdown late in the game with about 45 seconds left to play. And so Kennesaw State, unfortunately, goes down. They were 10-1 during the season. They have consistently, since they've started this team, been in the top 5 in the nation every single year in rushing. And everybody thought they were going to do it. They were up 28-17. But kudos to Eastern Tennessee State. They came roaring back, scoring 2 touchdowns late to knock off Kennesaw State 32-31. So, yeah, man, I mean, I think one of the things they should look into is maybe, I know it's kind of tough when they have the bowl season, but you're really great if there was some way they could play this game maybe even a week earlier to allow them to get in postseason play. But that's it. Because you remember a couple of years ago when Tuskegee really had a dominant team, they did not play in the first 2 years when they had a really dominant team. They did not play in postseason because it conflicted with one of their classic games. So again, yeah, you're right. You need to find a way to get black college football in the mix with everyone else, and hopefully they'll be able to have a happy medium of their minds to be able to do that. Well, we want to shift our gears now to professional football. And another team here in Georgia found their dreams go down in flames again. We're talking about our Atlanta Falcons losing again, and we have a guy, though, that covers the Falcons each every week. He's the embedded sports writer for AJC Sports for the Falcons. He also is a decorated and award-winning sports writer and Esquire par excellence. The one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back. What's going on, D-Led?
Hey, Reverend, how you doing? How you doing today? Thanks for having me on the show. Hi, Miss Tree and Tyrone. Thanks for being with y'all again this week.
Hey, D-Led. How you doing?
Should everybody come out ready? D-Led, you got that hat looks factory fresh. What's that? What's on that hat? I can't see it from here. What's that say?
That's when I spoke at the HBCU Combine, they geared me up. So, so I like this one.
I asked a real question quickly before we go into NFL. So speaking of Combine, there's some reports out that Deion, after being a big proponent of having a separate HBCU Combine, he's now saying he doesn't want that he wants all the players to come up to the regular Combine and the NFL to open it up. Have you heard much about that? And if so, what are your thoughts?
I have not. Long as they get looked at, long they generally have one or two guys from the HBCUs at the Combine. I remember one of my guys from Howard was there, Brother Pugh. The big tackle from A&T the last couple of years, the big tackle from Alabama A&M. So it's usually like one or two guys. So what they're saying is they could probably – it was only 44 at the Combine last year. So you can go from 313 to 303 to 350. But the pro scouts got to want to see them. If they haven't seen them on tape and don't like them, then there's no sense of having the Combine or inviting them to the Combine. But either way, it works for me. I don't care. As long as you get good speeds, good times, good medicals on them, and, then draft accordingly.
Yeah, and I agree with D-Led 1,000% on that. Because I was the one, one of those like D-Led spoke of that went to the Combine. So I went from a Division II, Fort Valley State. So I went to the Combine, went to the Senior Bowl, and people want to know, how did you get there? How did you get to the Senior Bowl? How did you get to the Combine? I tell them all the time, you got to dominate. You got to look like you don't belong on that level. And then, like D-Led said, those scouts gonna say, hey, you know what? We need to see this guy against everybody else. But I do agree with Deion too that we need to get more of those HBCU athletes in the Combine, but you got to dominate. But at the same time, I don't think you do away with the HBCU Combine now or forever, because those who don't have the opportunity to go to Indy, if they were to increase that number of HBCUs going to Indy, then those guys could go to the HBCU Combine. So basically, you're just moving guys up and bringing people in line to take their spots.
Well, it's funny you mentioned it. So what Deion is basically saying, he said he had a plan to basically make this a big deal. He's going to do it in Miami. I have 52 guys invited. And he's saying, well, instead of doing that, let the 52 guys go up to the Combine and be part of the regular Combine. So we'll see what happens and all that. But the bottom line is the guys just need to be seen. They just need to be exposed. So hopefully we'll see more of that.
Jonathan, if I may, a side note, the Combine is going to be at Mobile this year. They're going to have, during the Senior Bowl, they're supposed to have some type of Combine for HBCUs, I believe, during the Senior Bowl this year.
Well, like I said, either way, I agree with you guys as long as these guys are seen. Let's go here to social media. Man, Todd asking the question. D-Led, 7 minutes left in the game. Falcons at midfield down 2 scores. Haven't stopped Brady all day, yet we pump. What the H is going on?
Yeah, I mean, they wasn't winning that game. When the schedule came out, you knew they wasn't winning that game. So I'm not going to nitpick the coach on that.
Yeah, I mean,
they hadn't moved the ball all day. They hadn't moved it. The first series, they got a field goal in the third when they got stuck on the half-yard line. I mean, you want to talk to me about something. Talk to me about dropping back on the half-yard line. I'm not that game's already lost by that time in the fourth quarter, you know.
Yeah, I just still baffled on what's going on. Even the whole idea of rotating centers. The team just, I mean, they look. I guess they, in the words of the great late Denny Green, they are what we thought they were. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
just not that good of a team.
yeah, they ditched the center thing at halftime because Vader Villa and Sue were beating up the rookie too bad. So those guys had 2 sacks and 3 hits for Villa and 2 hits for Sue. So I mean, they just collapsed the line, and that's why he threw it. He wasn't trying to run it. He wasn't even trying to put it in the backup quarterback and sneak it because he knew he couldn't beat him up front. So till they get better, I don't know what anybody's expecting. I mean, they ran the ball for got 100 yards early. That's gonna be good because the passing game's been shut down for the season. It looks like. So yeah, they can go up to Carolina, run the ball, and throw a couple passes off of it. Carolina's 5-7 to fire their coordinator. You can win that game. Then you go out to San Francisco. They got beat by Seattle last week. Seattle just won their 4th game. So then you got Buffalo left, and then the Saints. Then you got Detroit. So I mean, you can win them next 3 games and be sitting there at 8-7. Okay, I'm saying theoretically, Reverend, theoretically. Panthers, stay with me, San Francisco and Detroit. Okay, then you gotta go to Buffalo, and they're mad now because everybody's saying y'all ain't ready for prime time. Y'all can't beat Belichick. Okay, so that's probably not gonna work out too well for the Falcons. And then you got the last game, so that could be 8-8, needing to win the last game against the Saints to get that 7th playoff spot.
So in other words, just like
a team that really doesn't need to go to the playoffs. They need to. I mean, you want to win and build a winning culture and everything, and that'll bode well for the future. But you don't want to be in the playoffs with a 9-8 team that's doesn't have a shot at winning the Super Bowl title.
Yeah, this team is. The reason I was making all those faces is because every time you mention beating Detroit, let me just zoom in why that was a problem. Let me go ahead and zoom in, as you can see there. Go ahead and flash that shirt again. And that's
Stafford, I see you.
So normally the Queen, we see all those beautiful pearly white teeth. When you said like the second time beat Detroit, man, them teeth were gone. That face was straight like this, D-Led.
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to hold it in and be queen-like, but she was like, "No, you throwing all kind of shit at my boys. I'm not feeling that at all."
Well, let's congratulate her for that big win over the Vikings last week.
We are no longer winless.
That's right. Here you go, D-Led. I checked with NFL headquarters. NFL did confirm you're allowed to try to win the game. Man, look, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess the only thing that is odd for me, and I guess you can only do with what you have. I just thought that this guy was more of an offensive guru, so I guess I expected more. I don't want to say exotic, but I guess I thought that there would be more ways for him to get Kyle Pitts loose. I thought they'd be using more multiple tight end sets. Now I understand Hayden Hurst obviously is hurt, but I thought they'd be using that and finding other ways, pick plays. I don't see any of those to try to get basically a guy that you brought in to be kind of your stud receiver. So that's the thing that's kind of confused me, that I just haven't seen anything that looks – everything I've seen looks pretty plain vanilla. Maybe I'm not looking at it right.
Well, I don't know. That's what I saw when I saw Tennessee. I didn't see this. They gave the ball to Derrick Henry. Yep. They threw in cuts to A.J. Brown.
Yep.
And they were good at it. Yep. And so that's what I'm seeing. That's what I expected. They moved Kyle Pitts around, trying to get in matchups. They can't pass protect. I guess my expectations were not that high, knowing that the offensive line couldn't block for long periods of time. So I mean, to be 5-7 here, is if the bottom falls out the rest of the way, nobody's gonna be stunned. If they get hot and win, everybody will be stunned, I think. So, that would be a good stun, but I don't think anybody's expecting them to run the table here.
Actually, D-Led, I think everybody will be mad if the Falcons start winning right now. Because then you're going to hear them start talking about they messing up the draft. They messing up the draft. We already don't have good players, and now we're messing up the draft.
Right. But Tyron, once that loser mindset gets in the locker room, it's hard to get it out. So you want them to be competitive and be fighting all the way for 17 games if at all possible.
Well, Trey, I know you've been kind of, trying to keep that smile out there as D-Led was talking about your lines, but do you have a question for D-Led about the Falcons?
I told you, I'm always smiling. I have no problem if people think that the Falcons will beat the Lions. I just personally think the Lions will beat the Falcons, but that's just my opinion. But no, I just, he makes a great point. What he said is something that I always say, because I know even having conversations with my father, and we love our Lions and talking football. And a lot of times he'll say that he thinks that teams should purposely lose a game just so they can get draft picks. And I always say, you never, ever, ever want to do that. You always want to win as much as possible, because like D-Led was saying, you don't want the locker room to start wanting to lose. Like, that should never happen for any athlete, especially not any professional athlete. So what do you think, D-Led, is the main message that the coach is telling the team right now to keep them with that winning mindset?
Yeah, they are telling them to compete, compete every day in practice, try to get a little bit better every day and try to aggregate those games. He went off on them a couple weeks ago about the run blocking. And so it's been good for the last two games, against Jacksonville. Then they caught Tampa Bay off guard early, but once Tampa adjusted, they shut the run down. So, Carolina's got a good front, so you're going to have to be able to run it at them. And, you didn't do a good job against them last time. They held you to 10 points. And then you got a field goal with 16 seconds left to get to 13. So, they just got to compete and try to get better and just take forward as many good players from this team as you can. Go ahead and start developing Darren Hall. Go ahead and Richie Grant got hurt. He's got to play. Audie Ogundeje got hurt. They got to play. They're getting valuable snaps this year. And there were guys that you can fill the roster out with that can play some quality football, hope for you in the future. You hope.
Let me ask you a question, D-Led. With Christian McCaffrey, he missing 23 of the last 33 games since signing the contract extension. You got, Joe Brady, he's, minus, he's out. And then you got Cam Newton, falling flat, arguably one of the worst performances of his career. What is the percentage that you get the Falcons of winning this game? You think they win by double digits, or you think they squeak one through?
They are 3-point underdogs here for this game, and the betting line is 3.5 by Bet Online AG, and the over and under is 42.5. So it's going to be a 2019 type of game, a 21-17 type of game, because nobody's got any offense. That's why Joe Brady, they're going to run the ball. They ran it for 247 times last time. So we're going to see an old Big Ten game on Saturday. A little student body left, student body right. We might not see a pass till like the middle of the second quarter, because they ran the ball 47 times and for 203 yards, season high against the Falcons. So hey, Cam can do that. He can run the ball. And so he's the third runner now. Chuba Hubbard's going to run it. They had Amir Abdullah running it. So they're going to dust up all the running backs and try to power the ball at the Falcons. The Falcons will have to power it back, with Patterson, Davis, and Quadri Allison. So, yeah, this game might be over in 2 hours and 53 minutes.
Now, my last question, D-Led, who needs to step up for the Falcons? Defensively, offensively, when you look at good teams, they usually have that guy on offense. On defense, they usually have that guy. On special teams, they usually have that guy. So looking at all three phases, right now currently on the team, if the Falcons are to make that push towards the playoffs, who is that guy or a couple of guys that got to step up offensively, defensively, and special teams, take their game to another level for the Falcons to achieve even hopes for the playoffs?
Yeah, on defense, that's easier. It's 4 guys. It's Grady Jarrett, Dante Fowler, Fourier Ulukan, and Deion Jones. I saw Deion giving up way too many passes against the Buccaneers. Them 4 got to try to dominate up front because that secondary is not going to hold up. Okay, now on the offensive side of the ball, the center, he should be upset. They've been rotating this rookie in here at my spot. He need to go out there and bust some heads. That's what my old cousin used to tell me that played for the Broncos. He's like, I'm going out there and bust some heads today. So that cat needs to go bust some heads, move some people around so they can run the ball on the half-yard line. And if he could power up for 5 games and be a good center, not the technician guy, but busting people upside the head guy, then that can get the whole line fired up, and maybe they can, make that run that they keep talking about.
Anybody
We're gonna wrap it up, guys.
Anybody on special teams? Avery Williams, he's had 6 returns for touchdowns in college. I think 6 punts and 3 kickoffs. We need to see him flip the field a couple times. We need to see him take one to the house. That's who we need to see on special teams. I like the new punter. It's going with Morstead, but Avery Williams is back there doing the returns. We need to see him bust a couple.
That's what I brought him here for. One last question here from social media is our man Todd. He says he'd like for you to ask Coach Pease a question. Coach, is there a plan to try to get their quarterback? Todd, I think if you remember, this is what caused the viral video before when D-Led started that.
Again. I asked him.
Hey, Coach
they're last in the league in sacks, and he's gonna snap again. But whatever you're doing ain't working. And he tried blitzing and getting the pressures. They didn't get there against Brady. So the secondary was at his mercy for much of the day.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a rumor, evidently. Todd's always on the inside. He said they thought that Ridley was at the Georgia-Alabama game on the sideline. I don't know. I didn't see him. I don't know. He might have been hiding in cover, but that might have helped his mental health, seeing a team that actually knows how to win on Mercedes-Benz Stadium versus lose all the time. So he might need that. All right, we're going to wrap it up, guys. A short one tonight here as we do what we always do. Before we let anybody get off this show, we want to let people know how they can find out more about them, social media, and website. So, of course, Esquire Park Excellence, the Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend. You can find me on Twitter at DeOrlandoAJC. We have the Bowtie Chronicles podcast dropping. I got a brand new microphone today and new producer. So we are sounding really good on the Bowtie Chronicles podcast this week. And also AJC.com and our Facebook page, Atlanta Falcons News Now. Thank you, Reverend.
Hit it, D-Led.
What? Gotta do it, D-Led. Thank you, sir. And we look forward to having you back on again.
All right, D-Led.
All right, the champion, Tyrone Poole. The floor is yours.
Well, it's always an honor. I appreciate everybody tuning in and watching and listening. Thank you, Queen, and thank you, Minister Simmons, for your show, Real Talk Sports. You want to follow me? There it is, Tyrone Poole 38. Tyrone Poole 38 on all social media. Go.
So I was able to get it on time this time because I've been well fed. So I was able to get right on there, be right on the spot. All right, Tyrone. Thank you, sir. God bless.
All right. God bless you guys.
All right. The Queen, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say again, you can donate to my toy drive that I'm doing with one of my nonprofit organizations, Making a Better Me. You can do that at makingabetterme.org and click on the link to donate to our Amazon registry. You can find me on all social media at It's Latresa, as well as Ms. America International 2021.
Now, every week I say I'm going to change it. But anyway, you can see, guys, there's the website, makingabetterme.org. And as always, to the Queen, thank you, and thank you. All right, we saved the old guy for last. So let me get on here. There he is. Okay. All right, guys. We appreciate all those of you again that watch our program each and every week. It's a great blessing. Thank those of you watching on the replay, on whether it be on YouTube or on Facebook, and we wish that you really be blessed. And speaking of being blessed, best way to be blessed. Well, I'm just going to tell you real quick. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, please, man, please, sir, get to know Him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus, not your mom, not your auntie, not grandmom, not your bae, not your boo, not your BFF. Why? Because He made you and He came to this earth and died for you so that now, if you believe in Him, repent of your sins, two great things happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adopted child of God and all the rights there. So that means you now have the ability to go to God directly yourself. Without the Monsignor, the pastor, the prayer leader, you can go to Him, ask anything that you desire or you need in Jesus' name, and according to His will, He will grant it unto you. And remember, the Father always has good gifts. And the best one of all, that when you leave here, you get to go to heaven and not go to hell. I don't know about you, but I like that option better than option number two. All right, everybody, listen, we hope again that you enjoyed our program. And until the next time, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your evening or day, whichever you got going on. All right, take care.